Good evening, everybody. It's Friday night. It's the 5th of May. We are on the cusp of the first classic of the season, and we are going to preview the 2000 Guineas. It's HHV, the judge. Judge, how are you, mate? We're one day down at Newmarket, two to go, but they are the classic days. Are you excited?
I am, mate. It's a bit of the weather's really putting literally a dampener on it. It's hard to know what to make of it, isn't it? Really. And did you see the last race? It didn't have any stalls. I hope they get that sorted.
Lightning stops play.
Is that what was happening? Because I couldn't hear what was going on. So
Yeah, like the threat of lightning meant they weren't going to very, very farcical scenes, really.
Yes. Well, you haven't.
Yeah, I mean, it was very strange because the Met Office said heavy rain mid-afternoon to late afternoon, and Angus in the studio there, racing TV, they showed you a picture, a back shot of this huge black cloud over Newmarket.
Yeah.
And you sort of thought, well, when they go back, it's going to be pouring with rain, but it didn't. It just had the lightning, the thunder, light shower, then the cloud moved away. Now, there is rain forecast tomorrow.
That's right.
To that.
Yeah.
But I think people who thought the last few races were going to be run on very soft today were a bit unlucky there because a few miles away it did pour down. So,
okay. Because I was trying to work out what was going on with the going, really. Because
vagaries of the weather. But we are not assured, but we think that tomorrow's race is going to be run on like good to soft.
Yeah, that's I'm kind of working on. Yeah,
that's what we're working on. Yeah. So, folks, it's the 440. It's the Kipco 2000 Guineas. It's the first classic of the season. It's the Colts over a mile on the rolling mile. There are 14 runners so far. Now, we are not going to go through them one by one. We're going to do them in blocks. But what I will just do is spin through the betting. August Rodin is the favourite. Best price 15 to 8 with Unibet. Pretty much 7 to 4 across the board. He was a winner of his last 3 races as a 2-year-old, only beaten once. Finished off in the Racing Post Trophy at Doncaster. One of the most bizarre betting races of Group 1 I've ever seen. He drifted like a barge and won easy. Aidan O'Brien trains. He also trains the second favourite, Little Big Bear. That's 5 to 1 best price with Bet365. He, like August Rodin, was beaten on his debut and then unbeaten since, winning of his last 4. We then got Chaldine, who, he ran in a race at Newbury recently, the Greenham, but he didn't be lucky with him. It chucked Frankie off at the start. He's 8 to 1. We'll come to him, obviously. Royal Scotsman for Paul and Oliver Cole. He's 9 to 1. Sakir for Roger Varian. He's 9 to 1. Winner at Newbury. Won his last 2 as a 2-year-old. Then we got Godolphin's first contender, Silver Knot. Buick takes the ride. Globetrotting Silver Knot. He's 11 to 1 best price with Coral. Holloway Bay. Christophe Soumillon comes over to ride him. He's a 16 to 1 shot. Been some money for him this afternoon. Then we got Godolphin's second contender, Noble Style. He's 18 to 1. He's unbeaten. Indestructible for Ammo Racing, one of the new kids on the block. He's 28 to 1. Dubai Mile for Charlie Johnson. He's 14 to 1. Sharin, Tom Marquand, but it might not be Tom Marquand, who got very badly kicked today on the way to the start in the first. That's 50 to 1. We'll wait and see who rides that. I've got a funny feeling it won't be Tom Marquand. Galeron for Kieran Schumacher, 100 to 1. Flight Plan for Danny Tudhope, who rode a Richard Fahey horse today, but we'll come to that another time. 100 to 1. That might be a one to watch on Monday. Judges Jules.
Yes, I think that's going to be a tracker horse.
High Royale for Ocean Murphy, the comeback kid, the outside of the lot for Kevin Ryan. Get this for betting. 150 to 1 with Bet365. 50 to 1 with some of the firms. 66 is so. A little tickle on the Ocean Murphy fans there. Now we're going to go from the outside to in. So, Judge, I'm going to look at the last 6 in the betting. I want you to tell me if you've got anything you could argue with. Argue had a shot.
Argue for, if you like.
Yeah. Argue for even. Yeah. High Royale, Flight Plan, Galeron, Sharin, and Dubai Mile. We'll take them.
Yes, the Guineas is often you often see a big price horse hit the frame in the Guineas. It's not a race I would say categorically you wouldn't fancy something at a big price. I'd never put anyone off a massive price horse anyway. There's not a lot of value in doing that. But out of the outsiders, I thought Dubai Mile was interesting. Just the fact that he's a Group 1 winner and you could back him at 40 to 1. And if they do get the extra rain that they might get, he's got proven form in soft ground. So I thought he may be a funny one. I'm not a massitive fan of the stable, but they've been known to get Guineas winners before, but more like the fillies. Yeah. I'm trying to think where we were then. That was the High Royal. Funny enough, I think we were at York when it made its debut in the valuable race there, the valuable maiden race. And it was a real massive eye catcher that day and won. I don't think he's going to win a Guineas really, but I can see why someone's having a little nibble at 150 to 1. But this is a type of race I've got to be honest. Normally there's like sort of one or two, and then that are real strong fancied, and then a couple of others. This looks a strong Guineas to me, but it is full of horses that haven't done the trip, which is unusual. They're not necessarily lots of milers, is there? It's a lot more sort of 6-7 furlong horses, not guaranteed to get the trip, are they? It might be a funny race tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think Dubai Mile, there used to be the old theory, 4th in the Guineas, 1st in the Derby, didn't they? And
yes.
I just get the impression that I don't care what ground it is really. I just don't think he's going to have the basic speed here. But he is an interesting horse going forward.
I just thought out of the 6 outsiders, I thought he was the most likely one out of the 6. I
wouldn't say. I could see him sort of staying on for 4th, and with 4 places, you've got a 10 to 1 winner on the place, haven't you? So you can't argue with Group 1 winners, and how many Group 1 winners have ever come into a classic?
Exactly.
So, at this price, I can't think of any off the top of my head. So, if he were to finish 3rd or 4th, there'd be a lot of people scratching their heads saying he shouldn't have been 40 to 1, won't they? But I don't know. I don't think he's going to be quick enough.
He's not one that I feel like I'm going to be backing. But if he, like you say, hits the frame, I think there's a justified reason why you could think of having a couple of
quid on. I think Sharon is a good horse and will go on to be a decent horse, but this is flying a bit high.
He's well held, isn't he, on certain
he's
lines?
Well held on that Newbury run. So Dubai Mile was saying place chances. And I would say only that. So we'll go on to the next block. Now we're getting into the real prices.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have a look at Indestructible, Noble Style, Holloway, Boy, and Silver Knot. Now I'll start on this one. Indestructible.
Yes.
He's running for Albert Ammo Racing, or taking racing by storm. Now, 16 days ago, won over course and distance. Proves it acts at the track on good ground. Beat a horse called the Foxes by 1 1/4 lengths, 28 to 1 tomorrow. The bare form, he's not great. I don't think. I didn't think that was a good race. I actually saw that race. I think he's got a good attitude, this horse. By Kodiak, I think he's got a lot of speed. I'm not sure he's going to see out a really well-run mile. I could see this horse being dropped back in future to be back at 6 furlongs maybe, or I think he's got a lot of pace. But he has won over a mile. I didn't think it was a good, I wouldn't think the Foxes will be troubling too many Group 1 races this year. So I'm going to leave, but rule out Ammo Racing at your peril. Holloway Bay, I know you've got a fancy for that. He's a very interesting horse. I'm not surprised that the money's come from him. I think he hated the heavy ground at Donny in the racing, the Futurity as it is now. I keep calling it
I keep calling it the Racing Post.
He has very, very consistent, solid form at 2. I know Berkey thinks that he has trained on and grown over the winter. He wouldn't mind good to soft. I just think that was just very, very heavy ground at Donny. I think he's a very solid contender. The Silver Knot, Sorry, Noble Style is the other one we're going to do in this section. Noble
Yes.
Style is going to meet my outsider. I've already backed the horse. I'm going to back it again. I'm going to back it each way. I see you can get 18 to 1 with Paddy Power. I think that's exceptional value. The horse comes here unbeaten. He won the Gym Crack in really good style, beating Marshman, who is a very, very solid horse. If you look at that field, it's excellent form. And what I like about this horse, Judge, is that he pulled like mad at the start at York. And you would have thought most times that he would suffer for that. But he actually won going away. He's a very quick horse. He's by Kingman. There are a lot of people saying that there are doubts over stamina, and you can look at that in his breeding. But I think if he gets this trip, he's very dangerous to all of them because he's very, very classy. He's very quick. And I know the ground may be good to soft. I don't think it's going to be heavy. And I still think you're going to need a lot of speed to contend in this. And I think he's got a real kick finish to him. I think he's the dark horse of this. And he's my bet number 2. He's my danger. I've already backed him. I'm going to back him again if I can get some of that 18s. I think that's exceptional value with 4 places. So that's the second block for me. What do you think to them? The next group.
I think the second block's quite interesting. Indestructible's held a couple of times. Has already been beaten by Chaldine on 2 occasions. Yeah. And actually, there's a line where obviously he beat the Foxes. And funny enough, the Foxes got tied in with the last horse we spoke about, Dubai Mile. So I kind of think the Indestructible form is just sort of a notch down below what you need to win a race like this. Possibly sort of between Group 2 and Group 3 form. So I don't really fancy him too much. I think he'll run a race, but I can't see him improving a great deal on that debut because that Ammo Racing, they've been getting their horses ready, haven't they, first time up? So I don't think he's got a lot of improvement in him necessarily. Going back to your one, Noble Style, I do like unbeaten horses, and he does fit the bill. And that middle, I think it's the middle part anyway. The race at York it won. I mean, it's beating proper Group 1 horses nearly there, but over sprint distances. Like I say, Kingman ran very well in a Guineas, didn't he? And come second in a Guineas, so he could get the trip. I am a little bit concerned about him getting home, but I wouldn't put you off at a nice big juicy price. He could easily outrun his odds. No, he's one that you can certainly consider. But my outsider in amongst that lot would definitely have to be Holloway Bay, just on a value perspective. I mean, if you looked in last year's Futurity, for example, I was with him that day, and I don't know what Danny Tudhope was doing. He ended up one side of the track and then onto the other. I think he traded nearly even money in running. He must have covered most of Yorkshire in that race, and he's well beaten in the end by Augusta, the fake August Rodan. But don't forget that's 15 to 8 for the race today, and it's still 16 to 1 available on Holloway Boy, and I can easily see him hitting the frame. He's a quirky horse as well, and he's a sort of horse you actually like to back each way because he runs on through beaten horses. So. Probably not good enough to win, but I certainly could see him in the places. So Holloway Boy would definitely, and I'm actually going to be tipping him. So Holloway Boy each way would be my sort of second selection, like you.
Excellent. Now I want to have a look at Silver Knot, who's 11 to 1, who's on prices, and Buick's choice. So I presume he had the choice. Godolphin's first string, although Charlie Appleby was pretty much saying he couldn't split them earlier, so I wouldn't be too taken by that. We've got Silver Knot, Sakir, and Royal Scotsman next. So what do you think about them 3, Judge?
Well, first things first, once again, we're getting back to Chaldine again, which and Chaldine has actually beaten Silver Knot, I think twice, certainly if not twice, once. And he definitely won't want too much rain, so he would be a bit of a worry if they did have a lot of rain. He's a nice horse, but I think he wants top of the ground, and I personally don't fancy him tomorrow. The other ones in this next lot, Sakir is really interesting because he was visually very impressive last time out, but that was once again a 6 furlong race. And this next batch, apart from Chaldine hasn't done the trip, but this next batch, apart from the favourite, if you like, the second favourite right through to Silver Knot. Silver Knot's done it. The next lot are all sort of 6 furlong, 7 furlong horses that have been visually very impressive. I mean, we're going to get a Little Big Bear in a minute, but Sakir last time out was very impressive to the eye. I once again, depends on how much rain they get. I'm a little bit concerned about getting the trip. Certainly got the class, I think. And if this horse doesn't end up running a big race tomorrow, I can certainly see him running well in the Commonwealth Cup at Royal Ascot if he doesn't sort of like run well here in the Guineas. But if obviously he turns out to be a miler, they'd rather stay that way. But he's very interesting. Royal Scotsman and Chaldine, there's nothing between them pretty much on Dewars form, if we're going that far up. And so Royal Scotsman was visually closing on Chaldine that day, but that pretty much made most of the running. And I think Chaldine has got more in the locker here. I know obviously he was without a jockey, had an away day. At least he's sort of like been to the races rather than been in his box. And so actually my next choice in the race will be Chaldine, win only, and each way Holloway Boy, just for the fact that the Dewars form has seen Frank after Frank. He's had horses behind him. If you consider the horses we're talking about here, all come out and been winning since. I think it's the best of the English form, actually translated at the trip. And I think he's the horse to beat from England, if you like.
Yeah, I'm going to get straight to it. Obviously, I've given Noble Style, and I shall back him again if I can get some of that 18s. But my main selection this year is number 13, Sakir. I absolutely fell in love with this horse last year. I think he is absolutely a superstar in the making. He ran at Newbury in the Mill Reef. Now, the Mill Reef has a trial taken a bit of a battering. I mean, yes. I read a horrific stat that the previous 4 winners before Sakir never won another race after that. Now, there was injuries and things with that, but it isn't a great. But despite that, I've gone through it again. I think it was a really good race, and he absolutely laughed at the field. And there was some pressure on Roger Varian to run him again last year. What I like about Judge is he's just said, no way at all. This is getting put away. This is the one. This is potentially the best horse we've had in a long time. He comes straight here. I've got no qualms at all that he won't be 100% ready to go. He's by Zoffany. I don't think a bit of cut. I wouldn't thought he'd want it heavy, but I wouldn't have thought necessarily.
No, won't be a problem.
He's got a very dual ground breeding. I think he's incredibly exciting. I think on breeding, you've got every expectation that he'll get this trip and that he may even improve for it. He certainly wasn't stopping at the end at Newbury. I'm all over this. I'd have this about a 92, 5-1. I think the O'Brien horses at the top and Chaldine, with it being Frankie's last year, have taken all the publicity in this race, all the previews, all the talk, all the articles, and I think Sakir has been largely forgotten. But I think he will remind people tomorrow that he is potentially a superstar. And I cannot believe that the winner of the Racing Post Trophy on heavy ground is 15-8, top price favourite. And Sakir, who for me was visually far more impressive, winning at Newbury is 10-1. I just do not see that at all. So he's my main one. Now I'll just cover the top 3 we haven't mentioned. I know you like Chaldine. I do like the horse, but I did not like seeing all that we saw at Newbury, and it's going to take
I can't blame the horse for that, really. I mean, crikey, the other horse ran across him. What was he supposed to do? I mean, it's just one of them things.
But I just it didn't. I don't know. I also think I don't know. I'm maybe not as convinced. I can't believe he's a short price in Sakir. Don't get defensive, Judge. Just because
I just chuckled to myself. It won the Dewhurst last time out, man. It's normally the best trial there is. Anyway,
well, but no, it's only 14 days since he seated and then started running around the track. I don't know. If I was Andrew Baldwin, I'd be very worried about that whole thing. I don't think the horse came away with a very.
It wasn't an ideal prep. It
wasn't an ideal prep at all. I also, I don't know. I think he I just wasn't as impressed. I'm not sure it was a great Duos last year. So yeah, I think he's about the right price. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think that my selections are too big, and that's why I'm betting. That's what my mum was looking for.
That's what you're looking for, a bit of
bigger
value.
prices, yeah. And then we come to the top two, the O'Brien two. I will say this: I'd be more interested in Little Big Bear at 5-1 with Bet365 than I would be in August Rodin. I was really impressed with this Little Big Bear. I think he's got tremendous natural speed.
Tremendous.
By no name, never. Now, he's the one. I was talking to somebody yesterday. You remember Stravinsky? He was going to be the one, wasn't he? And then in the end, he ended up being a sensational sprinter brought back in the summer, and he won at York. And he was just one of the most visually impressive. I remember watching him win at York over 5, and he was just incredible. And I got a feeling Little Big Bear may turn out to be their speed horse this year. I think he's got so much speed. I just wonder if this mile will stretch him. I may be wrong. He was incredibly quick in the Keeneland. We haven't seen him since then. I know they did have some issues. He won by 7 lengths the Phoenix Stakes.
Yeah,
and the fractions he pulled in the last 2 were absolutely sensational. Is he almost too quick? That's just my worry. And then we come to the favourite, August Rodin, who, like I say, won over a mile. When they crossed the line at Donny on very heavy ground over a mile, Judge, I remember speaking to like the prof and some other people and saying, I think we may have seen the Derby winner there. And I still think we may have. Soft ground Derby, but I wasn't thinking this is a Guineas horse. I just thought that, this is a very different test 6 months down the line. And I just wonder if the horse is quick enough. And I don't think it's going to be heavy tomorrow. I think it'd be good to soft. If it was heavy, and if there is heavy rain, he comes into it, definitely. And of course, he's a short price favourite. Brilliant, beautifully bred horse. But I think he's short in the market. I think the market's found him. I'm not sure he's going to be quick enough to handle some of these. There's a lot of speed in this race. Sakir is a very fast horse. Noble Style is a very fast horse. Little Big Bear is a very fast horse. I just got a feeling he might be too far back when he gets rolling. I could see him coming into sort of third and doing his best work late on. But what do you think, Judge? Obviously, Chaldine, you're a bigger fan than me, but
I think I've argued the case with Chaldine. I think he's a pretty solid. Look, if he didn't go, I know it's a stupid thing to say, but if he didn't go to Newbury, I mean, he started 5-4 to win that race, and it wasn't as if he wasn't fancied at all that day. Just one of those things. You can't outrun him without a jockey on it. So look, he is what he is. He is definitely the right price. But I mean, last year you're on about 2-year-old performances without a doubt. Little Big Bear's winning. Yeah. I did actually back him for the Guineas before that race, and then when he won, I thought I'm on a good ticket here. My concern with Little Big Bear is the fact it was got injured and it's not run since, and it's. They normally hype their horses up, and it's the fact it's been kept so quiet. I kind of don't like. That's what kind of has put me away a little bit with that. Regarding August Rodin, I mean, if you're taking, you've got to put 5-1, 10-1 in running in, surely, haven't you? I'd be surprised it wins on the bridle with all the speed and everything in this race. There's no way you could take 15-8 before the race starts. I mean, like if you looked at the futurity that day, I'm sure he went a price that day because. Like I say, I was on Holloway Boy that day, and that definitely touched close to evens. I'm pretty sure of it. So on that basis, it had to go a decent price. I mean, if you do fancy the favourite, instead of having your full bet on it before the race, have like a quarter of your bet on, and then put bigger prices in him running. I mean, look, if he doesn't go a bigger price, you're still on. But I'd be surprised it doesn't go 5-10-1, wouldn't you? Even if it wins the race.
Do you think this horse is going to come into his own of a middle distance trip?
Exactly. And like you just, I mean, we've talked about the race. I mean, is there guaranteed front runners and everything in this? I mean, you'd like to think something's going to kick on in the race, but there's quite a lot of pace in the race that ridden for turn of foot. There's a lot of horses like that are going to be. Well, we don't want a quick run race, and that's one way you're going to get the favourite beat, isn't it?
It's a crawl. August Rodin's in big trouble.
I mean, it's unusual with a big field. You normally get a decent clip, but don't think this has got to travel on. well all the way and then outstay them, which it should start outstaying a lot of horses nearer the finish. But I'd be surprised it comes down if it comes there on the bridle and wins easy. This is a definite Derby winner.
Well, the people that have backed the Triple Crown bet, and,
this is the hardest leg, isn't it?
This is the one you need to worry about.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm decrying the horse. I'm not, as I said.
No, I'm just thinking at 15 to 8. That's the thing, isn't it?
I said I think we've seen the Derby winner.
Yeah.
This is the same distance that he won over as a 2-year-old, and with maturity and growth. I just think he's going to be short of pace tomorrow. I mean, we're playing how we see this, and he's very short. But O'Brien's are often overbetting this.
He's a brilliant trainer who's won this several times. But I mean, the other thing is, if he was that far clear, would they be bringing Little Big Bear over as well? So there's. I think if you fancy the favourite, you've got to put the price in running, because I'd be surprised if this horse doesn't go bigger in running if it wins.
Yeah,
that's my opinion on the map. So
excellent, right, Judge. Reminders of your two, my friend.
Right, yeah, small win bet, Chaldine, each way, Holloway boy for me.
Excellent, and I'm not going Chaldine now. Just got that in.
I know that. I've already been told.
I'm the mighty Saki who's going to show what a superstar he is tomorrow. And my danger, my outsider at 18 to 1, is the Doiler and the Boys in Blues Noble Style. So they're my two. So hopefully, between us, in those four, we're going to give you the winner. But, we've got strong opinions on this. There's no point coming on here and going, well, I think this, think that. There's no point in that. We try and tell you where we think horses are bad value. We try and tell you where we think horses are value, and then, it's over to you. So one thing is for certain, this is a fascinating renewal of the 2000 Guineas.
It does look a good renewal, doesn't it? But we won't know until the summer, will we?
Well, we don't. You only know it's a good one until they've all run again at least once.
Yes.
For all these races.
Absolutely.
So, but one thing is for sure, not for sure, but I have a strong suspicion that this is going to be a good one. Yeah. Because all these potential superstars, they're not all going to flop, are they?
No, you wouldn't think so, would you? No.
And we may get one. We're at a time when horses have come on from 2 to 3. We may get one that improved out of all recognition over the winter, and that we just don't know yet, and even the yard don't know. So, right. There is a bit of the unknown here, but it's going to be a fantastic race. Judge, you'll have a busy day tomorrow, mate, I would expect.
Oh, it's massive, mate. Yeah, big day tomorrow. Yeah, very much so. Be looking at Goodwood and at Newmarket tomorrow. I like a couple there.
Me too. I'm off to get my head into the form book.
Definitely.
And we'll have a big day. So
we'll have the crown on tomorrow.
We'll have the crown on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, getting ready. The coronation on Monday is for. Now, we'll be back maybe Tuesday, Judge, on your channel.
Yes, I think that makes sense. Yes, we give the bank holiday. Yeah, definitely.
Look out for that. And Judge,
I think we might have seen one today, mightn't we?
Yeah, I won't give too much away.
No,
but
that's
Danny
right.
Sort of one that I'll be giving, as one I'll be giving. But there you go. We'll muse on that on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody, whatever you're doing. Enjoy the Guineas. Whatever your pick is, good luck with it. And Judge, good luck with yours, mate. But
good luck to you. Yes.
I just hope Chaldine ends the race with how you're supposed
jockey
to
on.
have somebody on it, wherever it finishes. Hopefully behind my two. Have a great weekend, everybody, and good luck.
Be lucky, mate.
You are doing. Be lucky.
Hold horses.